Experience and experience. Is it supposed to be inquisitive? Like, what is this? What are we talking about now?
Peace, King and Queens. You are now rocking with the best. This is In Living Black. I am your host, of course, JD. I'm here with a beautiful brother of mine,
Bari, Young Yara.
Let it ring off. Let it ring off. And
Man.
got the homie Yomi in the building.
Gang.
You're
What up, Young?
Instagram handle.
No, well, we made that name.
We
for her.
coined that.
We coined that for her.
We coined
Are
that.
you dead ass? That's like where you got your Instagram handle from? Yeah.
In Living Black. That's
Come
what we
on.
do. That's what we do. And
That's a good fucking name.
Yo, fire.
so it was really Jabari though, because Jabari was just like calling homie Yomi. We have a wonderful, very huge, probably one of the biggest guests that we have received on this
It's so
podcast.
weird when people say that to me.
No, but it's
It's
just facts. You know, one of the. I said one of. You know,
Who the fuck else you had on here?
Nobody bigger than you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It don't even matter no more. It don't even matter no more.
Yeah. It's this is all about Weezy, from Horrible Decisions podcast, the owner or the co-owner of WTF.
I be saying owner.
You can count on. You
I be
don't.
like, I own it, but there's two of us.
Yeah. You don't give a fuck about it.
Co-owner just is not giving what it's supposed to give.
It doesn't give boss.
But like, it's not like I'm trying to, in my brain, like take full ownership. I love like honoring my partner and what he does because obviously all of this shit's because of him.
Yeah.
But like if I'm out somewhere, I don't be like, I co-own a studio. No, I own it.
Right. Right.
With
Yeah.
Yeah.
With okay.
Mhm.
Co-owner of WTF Studios. What a wonderful space you've created here. I'm gonna say
Thank
you.
Fact.
All right, now not both of y'all. I'm gonna say you.
I'll take it.
Yeah, because she just claimed all the credit right there, right?
I mean, she deserves it.
Facts. So, first of all, I want to get into, I saw that you was at the Roots Picnic
Mhm.
Recently. That was your first festival?
When does this episode come out?
Sunday.
Sunday. Wow.
I had an announcement on Monday, but I'm not gonna say it.
You want to break something here, though? If you want to break some
If
news,
you want to
here,
break
go
some
ahead.
news here, we could just drop it. Nah.
No, all right. It's cool.
Tell y'all when the mic shut off.
All right,
Okay,
say word.
okay.
Say word.
Say that.
Say
that.
word.
You had a festival at the Root. You did a festival at the Roots
It's my
Picnic.
first time doing a music
First time.
festival.
How was that?
Dope as fuck. It's funny because everybody kept talking about how ghetto like the festival was run. I'm like, bitch, I'm on a music festival stage. Okay, so don't give a fuck.
Nah, I've definitely heard that it was like a lot of like sound shits going wrong and all that
The
stuff.
podcast stage was no lie. Like even Rory and Mal and I were talking about it. Like the only stage that was timely, the only stage that had great sound, and it was really far though. I've never been to that park in Philly, but if anyone has, like, it's just really spread apart. Because normally in a music festival, you kind of hear other sounds bleed into each other.
Yeah.
That did not happen with the podcast stage.
Was it in the same park that they do Made in America?
Piedmont.
Nah, it's not that. I think it was the Benjamin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Benjamin something.
Yeah.
I mean, even Questlove like made a comment to me because I was like, yo, I heard there's headphones. He was like, well, I want to do that so people really can experience the podcast stage. But instead, he just far removed it, made the sound good, put people in a tent so that, it's enclosed. Like, it was really well done. At least that part. I know Summer Walker had her issues, but
Yeah, I heard. Yeah,
I'm not that level.
yeah. I heard I heard that part. Summer Walker, her shit, like the performance was trash. But we ain't mind that. How was that experience for you?
It was so fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah,
It's weird because, like, we've done
done live shows.
with way more people.
1,000. Yeah.
But for some reason, it felt really special, I guess, just to see your name on an app. And like, I don't know. It was really, and also like fans that maybe can't afford a ticket or can't reach a certain city. Like, I saw new faces. Normally at shows, I kind of see the same fans.
Right.
Which I guess doesn't make me sound like I'm making a good look, but you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Like,
really.
you see them either at something before, an event you go to, but this was like brand new shit. And it felt really nice. I think what I learned from it too is like, I was saying this out loud or on a podcast. I don't know, but I just finished season 2 of my TV show. And
Congrats.
I was flying home, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. That morning, I had to get in the car to go to Philly. And in the car is Wolf, who works here. He does our BTS.
Shout out to Wolf.
Tiana, who manages the studio. But
Shout
Shout out
she's
to
also,
T.
she's also my assistant.
That's game.
And my best friend, who is our tour manager. And I'm like in the car with them and having this moment of like, yo, like we're all getting paid right now to do something that is huge for me. And at the same time, like, how are all these people doing it for me? Like, I just felt super blessed and lucky, which is crazy because I didn't really feel that the last time I did a live show. It kind of feels normal. But when you get to hit these new accolades in your life, you're almost like, damn, it's like a reminder. And it really hit me like I need to be counting my blessings way more. Because I should be counting them when I walk in this room with y'all.
1,000.
You know
That's
what I'm
love.
saying? And I'm not thinking about it consciously. So yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
even that process of like building a team, like had to be very jarring too. Like, you know, like was that experience for you like a little difficult? Because I know we, first of all, we both came from the same studio. Like we all have.
Right.
I remember seeing you Horrible Decisions a long time ago at Gotham,
Mhm.
bum ass studio.
Oh, you be talking about them like that?
1,000%. Yeah, because of how they treated us. Not because of the studio was trash, but it's just like how the owners of that studio just treated us. They didn't treat us with like any respect, especially like the black. She biting.
So I don't want to talk shit about another studio, particularly because I'm trying not to start this thing of like, I'm better than you,
No. We're not doing that.
but I am.
Okay.
Talk about it.
I
Go ahead.
I don't think it's more that than it's like, I could be making the joke that we're better, but it's really about like, I'm a podcaster that made a podcast studio. And I was podcasting at the time for 5 years when that idea happened. And my partner had been working on video and audio for podcasts the same time frame. So I knew exactly what I wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I knew how I wanted people to feel. And I think everybody that works here is somebody I would get a drink with, right? And I don't really feel like when I'm a patron of businesses, I could always say that about everybody.
Sure.
But the fact that that's the case, like, I know it sounds cheesy, but the fact that like everybody's cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no corny niggas that work here. There's just not.
And
Like, everybody is either in the culture in some way where they understand it enough. They look like us. I mean, even Yomi, I no shade Yomi, but like at first I was like, well, she's just a photographer. Why are we gonna have her? And Alex is like, I like her. We'll train her. And yo, like, she is that good now. Like, everybody has to start from somewhere. But in my brain, I was like, we gotta find someone that's super experienced. Da 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 da. And instead, it was like almost the opposite. It was the person that had the interest and the knowledge and would be quick enough. And like that is really what felt like team building, actually.
Right.
Because, you know, Yomi may not work here forever. Hopefully I could pay her $1 million, but she may grow one day. And knowing that like if she's the best engineer in the world and it got to start here is a really dope feeling.
yeah.
And that really, to me, was something that was cool about being able to hold hands with everybody in that process. Like I liked that. I've never had that happen to me.
Yeah, and it's key you say that too, because I think that's the feeling that I feel like every podcast gets when they walk in here is like, we're with these engineers every week. So these are the people that we are building connections with, relationships with, and we can speak on it. Yomi, that's day one game. Like her first day here was our first day here.
Oh,
I mean, so
God.
that's why
Really?
Nah,
yeah,
it really was. It was
most
sick.
def. Like last July, something like that. So like
Was
that's
it
why.
bad? I was like,
So that's why we're so cool and Wolf and T. So like the people that work here, I feel like I can tell at least that you and Alex and whoever else was part of that hiring process really made it a key to like be like, yo, we want cool people that be here, just people that you can just relate to on a human basis, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Human level.
and like it's weird too because I was so like, we have to have the best of the best. Like we have to have someone that's been engineering for 1,000,000 years. But like, nah, like when you really put your mind to something, it's not the hardest thing to do.
Right.
It's just actually putting in the effort. Right. And so to me, that came with making sure that people had an interest. Right. Like as someone that already like, Yomi's a lit ass photographer. So it's like, okay, this is just another realm of that world doing video. Like if someone likes it, I feel like they'll do it right. And normally we all get a job because we like, fuck, I just gotta get fucking paid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
God.
But I mean, no, my goal, like for real, is to like give everyone full-time positions and pay them way more and like keep them growing with the things that we're doing. Because we went from podcast studio and now we do real production. You know what I'm saying? We can do post-production, sound mixing, sound design, things like that. And as that part grows, I really want to like, I don't want any turnover. Like I don't want a day to be like, someone's like, I don't want to be here. Like I don't even say I have employees sometimes. Like I just say people that work with me. Like I try to do my best in making sure that like I'm the type of boss that I wish I had.
Right.
You know.
And
Because-
my
Yeah,
fault, I'm
yeah,
sure,
bro.
but what I also think is important that y'all built here too is like I feel like any podcast could come in here and it doesn't feel like you're on a different level for real. So you could have a podcast like Horrible Decisions where y'all have much success for years, and someone who's like on their 20th episode could come in here too, and the feel is still the same. You know what I mean? I think
Most
that
definitely.
that helps as well. Like if I'm on YouTube and I see like a suggested video of a podcast I never heard of before, but I see this background, this setting,
You gonna have to
it's gonna
tap in.
automatically make you want to watch. Cause like that looks like there's real value in that. No
You
matter.
know, and it's funny because people say one of two things.
Okay.
I heard a guy say to me once, like, "Oh, I almost came to your studio, but everybody records there." And I was like, "Yeah, everybody does record here."
Yeah.
Like,
That's a flex.
there's two ways to look at that.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the biggest podcaster in here is Charlamagne and Andrew Schultz, right?
Yeah.
And there was a moment where I'm sure they wish they had a different set, but at the same time, like, I know that Charlamagne really enjoys knowing that like his Black Effect partner has something like this, and I know that he said that to me, yo. Like, he loves recording here. It's first of all, it makes you feel like even when I'm recording here and I see people coming in after me, like you understand that you can make it too.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
podcasting sometimes looks so huge in our eyes. Like I may look like that to somebody.
Right.
I look at Joe Rogan that way. Like who knows? But at the end of the day, like we can all share the same space. We all gonna get the same high level shit. And I kind of like that everybody does record here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Facts.
feels good. Yeah.
Facts.
It's definitely a flex.
Yeah, and the fact that like there's like many young Black podcasters in general too that record here, it makes it even more feel like
Some when
this
white people come in.
is...
Do I not? I'd be like, where do you white? But my homegirl.
I just
started
had some
recording.
white people.
You said what?
I had white people record previous.
It's so. I think this is Sophie.
It was Hannah Burner though.
Hannah
like
Burner.
Friends.
So like I'm not going front. Two of my friends record here that are white. I guess Andrew, sorry, but that to me, Brilliant.
Yeah, Brilliant
Black
Idiots
Pod.
is a Black podcast. Yeah.
So Sophia Franklin and Hannah Burner, and I made a joke when
Sophia's white.
Latina, but she's a white Latina.
Argentina.
Or she's white Latina, bro.
I mean, she's
So like I'm not even saying it's her voice. I'm saying she's white, but I love her even though she's white.
Right.
So anyway, like literally that week we had so many white people come in and I was like, wow. And this is so fucked up, but luckily this is a Black podcast.
Mhm.
I was like, how do we charge them a different price?
Mm.
But like, how do I make sure that like niggas coming in ain't paying your reparations? Because the more white people that come in here, I be wanting to tax them more.
Oh,
I
respect.
swear.
I ain't gonna lie.
But also, it's particularly because like when we even started, I was like, yo, I remember when I couldn't afford podcast video. And shout out to Cast Sound Lab. That's where I first recorded. They're also a Black-owned podcast studio in the area. And when I started there, like I remember Alex was our first video. He brought video in and we really couldn't afford it. And then like, you know, it was hard. I was like, we have to do advertisements. We have to figure out because maybe we'll just sell it. We'll tell niggas we'll play their song and they can pay for the video for this episode. Because I just was like, I can't afford doing this, right? I can't afford to build this dream when I have a corporate job. And that's why it was really difficult to like figure out how we're going to make this price work. Because as an entrepreneur that's Black, anybody starting a business, you want to make money, but you also don't want to fuck people over.
Yeah, on God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like really hard to figure that out. But maybe that's why we're blessed, yo. Like more people came in and it ended up evening out.
Facts.
Oh God. Yeah, I feel like to tap into what you're saying, like starting a podcast and stuff. I know a lot of people like ask me all the time, like, how do I get into that podcast? And we've been doing it. That was my point from earlier. Like, we've been doing it for like 5 years. Pretty much sometimes off and on, just judging by like what's been going on. We had a co-host leave. We had like situations, name change, like a whole different vibe. We've been doing it for 5 years.
5
and-
years is a long time.
Yo, bro, it's a long
podcast.
it's a long time. Like,
Podcasts do not make it past a year. Seriously.
they don't even make it past 2 months. A lot of podcasts, like when a lot of
Yeah.
people would be like, yo, I want to start a podcast. Like, all right, cool. Here's the steps that like me and Bari have taken, and here's how you like get in connections with people and stuff like that. But I mean, they'll record like 3, 4, 5 episodes and then just drop off. And I'm like, yeah, because it's not that easy to come up with
Yo,
topics every week.
Y'all know the comedian Lisa Lampanelli?
Yes.
Yes.
So she came in here to record some episodes and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like she's huge, right? And then I didn't see her again or see her name pop up in the emails. And I said to Alex, because he got her, and I said, what happened to her? She didn't like it? And he was like, oh, I think she just realized it's too hard to do a podcast.
Wow.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Nah, it's ridiculous to like come up with a topic every week, talk for an hour or two, and we used to do like 3-hour pods for real.
At times.
Like at times, like like just to talk. But like I feel like it works well when you have great chemistry with someone, even if it's on camera. Maybe not off all the time. It doesn't necessarily have to always work off off camera. However, on camera, if you got that chemistry, it's just easy. It's just like a flow. It's like I'm talking to my friend, talking to my homie about whatever the hell that we want to talk about or discuss. And I tell people that all the time, like, yo, you got to make sure whoever you bring on the podcast, got to have chemistry with.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And you don't know. I mean, I know that's why a lot of podcasts do pre-production. With WHOREible, pre-production is really minimal because like once you, this is just my opinion. I know a lot of people won't believe this. Pre-production we do as far as making the outline per the guest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of people will talk to the guest beforehand. Y'all didn't really do that. And I don't think that's a bad thing because I don't do that either. Because I think when you start giving someone too much, hey, what do you want? What can you tell us what you don't want to say? I feel like you gave them too much room.
Yeah.
And I actually don't like that. Like, it's not a fucking TV show, bro.
Yeah.
People are listening in long form. Like, I want to be able to pull things out of you. And I don't like giving niggas the option.
Yeah, never.
I really don't.
I think we never done that.
Yeah, facts.
Like ever.
Facts.
But some people do.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's a weird thing. But like what we have done is, like, if we never met that person that we're having on the show, we might meet up with them early, like probably an hour before the show, and be like, yo, let's just talk. Let's just chop it up, just to see if we can actually have conversation. Because sometimes you just don't know. I don't want to ever. I feel like we.
And people get stage fright.
Facts.
Yes,
all the time.
all the time. But I don't think we ever had a show. I feel like out of 170, this is 180 episode.
Wow.
It's 100, thank you, appreciate that. 180 episode. I feel like we only scrapped 2, only.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've never scrapped. We've put it on Patreon and then dragged them people after and be like, these niggas are trash. But what do you think makes you keep your pod going after 5 years?
Good question.
That's a good question. I think honestly, if I'm gonna speak, I think I love this shit, like for real. Like I love having conversation.
That's good.
I love having dialogue, but I like having dialogue about shit that like low key matters and then shit that don't matter too. You know what I mean? Like I want to laugh. I want to be entertained. Right. But I also want to talk about the heavy shit sometimes. And I think that's just, and I also want to, I feel like a lot of people that we bring up, like we create that platform for them to get their shit off, whatever that might be. I feel like that's what In Living Black is about. Mm-hmm. It's just about living in your own space as a Black person, period. You know, like whether you have a Black business or you're an entrepreneur as a Black person, or you just coming out of a 9-to-5 job and you just like dealing with the loads of stress from life or like what you might
Black
find.
Spaces are needed.
Yeah,
like Black
real.
Podcasts are needed. Like I think there's a lot of moments where like I think about the rise and success of other podcasts that get numbers like mine and things like that. Not either how much more they make or like just little things that have happened, but it's like, what are we supposed to do? Like sell ourselves out to like feed the masses? Like, nah. I really truly believe like if I'm serving the people that are really here for me or that look like me or that are in my lane, like it'll come. Okay. Like, you know, and Al and I made the joke too when we posted that we were only hiring Black people. And he's like, oh my God. Like, I just thought we could maybe just like, you know, skip over the white resumes. I feel like we should say we only gonna hire Black. And, you know, we're laughing about it. But I'm like, I don't care. Yeah. I kind of don't. Like, I had someone that was a lawyer write me to help me on Instagram. And they were like, hey, once you pass 15 people in the state of New York that are just Black, you know, then you could get into small claims court. Just keep letting you know. Right. So you may need to make sure someone's in Jersey did it. Like they taught me how to do it. Wow. And you think white people ain't do that?
Right. Yeah, of course.
So I don't give a fuck. Yeah. And honestly, like being known as a Black space or as a Black podcast, like white people will come if they want to. And I heard Crystal say something from the read, and I'll never forget it. They be going off about white people, and this is years ago. She said, you know why white people listen to the show? Because they like being told about themselves. And I was like, wow, fucking true. Because the way they be going off on white people on the read, shout out to the read. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it, but it's like, you know, one of the most popular Black podcasts ever. Oh, huge Time fucking magazine articles or some shit, or New York Times. I don't fucking know. They're huge. And they were one of the first podcasts to ever have a TV show. And then I was the podcaster that followed suit on the same network. But like when she said that, I think about that all the time with the studio. all the time. Like at that party we had that y'all were at, I made a
Yep.
joke with the white people here, like, thanks to the diversity. You know what I'm saying? Because I've felt the opposite walking in white podcast studios. So,
Exactly.
like, what are we, the nigga pod? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
fuck it. I
Oh,
don't
God.
care.
What was you about to say? Like, what made you keep this 5 years?
Oh, I think one, just pretty much what everything you were saying. I mean, it's such an amazing creative outlet for people that look like us, just to talk about whatever's on your mind. I mean, I know we've had like some serious episodes sometimes. It's just things to like really, especially, you know, just Black people having those conversations, unpacking different mental issues, past traumas, and then just the engagement, like the engagement you get from putting something out, and then people like genuinely fucking with whatever you said, conversation spreading from there. Like that's always ill to see too, because like I mean when we first started, it's like why would anybody want to listen to us?
Oh,
Like, we
God.
just
I was
two,
like,
you
I don't know
mean?
what we was doing.
We two friends from high
Started
school.
on the
like,
phone.
Yeah, fact.
Really?
Yeah, we was
Yeah,
recording
1000.
on our iPhones.
Like practice?
Nah, like
just like
legit
our first
putting it out.
episode was off
Like,
the iPhone.
like off the iPhone, we put it on SoundCloud and it was like, yeah. And people was like, yo, the audio is terrible, but I like what you guys are saying.
Not this sucks, but it's good.
No,
Right.
yeah. No,
Pretty
but for
much,
real.
though.
But like I like
Real
that.
shit.
I like those
Yeah.
type of feedback, especially from people that I kind of like look at as like, because I don't really care about feedback, but it depends from who it's from. Like if it's from somebody that I deem creatively like on a type of pedestal, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I understand where he's coming from. Or if they give us praise, I'm like, all right, we doing the right thing. You know what I mean? I actually want to tap in to what you had said about the read.
Mhm.
I didn't want to get into it this early, but you had brought up the read, so I want to like. I know did you listen to the last episode of the read?
Yeah.
The kid.
I actually like I cried on an episode that's coming out tomorrow, on Monday.
Oh wow.
And I was like, I wonder if I would have did this and felt comfortable to do it if I didn't hear Fury cry this week.
Mm.
Like, I don't know, you know, that like that's definitely an influential podcast. And when you see other people get vulnerable, it like makes it easy for you too. It really inspires you.
Oh God, we cried on this episode on a podcast. Well,
True.
when Kobe died, that was a lot for us.
Who didn't cry?
Yeah,
Yeah.
on God. I know Kid Furry, like he kind of like went into like him like his mental state. That was a hard listen to like really like listen to. Do you ever feel that type of vibe? I know because your podcast is exploding, it's getting like bigger and bigger. Like, do you ever feel that type of mental like pressure?
Yeah, I mean, definitely I would say trigger warning now. I like saying it like this. I've used the word suicidal or depression, but I feel like when you flat out say like I want to die, like you got to almost unpack those words, right? Because we're almost what's the word, desensitized to saying suicidal, depression, da, da, da. Like my feelings started really weird. It happened last year on WHOREible. I deleted my Instagram for a while. Not that Instagram don't be delete me on their own. And what's crazy is like when it happened, it started like, oh, I just want to sleep for like a week, like weird shit like that. You know what I mean? Maybe figuring out like how to not exist for a little bit. And I remember little things happen, and it's crazy because now that I'm feeling better, it's so weird to say this, but I couldn't die because I had a dog. Like it was dumb shit like that. That's kind of funny, but like dead ass. People really lean on one thing when they feel like that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people want to stay alive for their kids or their family, shit like that. For me, I was like, the dog. Well, and then I was looking at her one morning when I thought about it. I was like, damn, who would take you? Everybody gonna be so mad. Alex didn't want a dog. He gonna end up taking a dog. What about my ex-boyfriend? Like, it was wild.
Yeah.
And when I listened to Fury, obviously I flooded his mentions just like everyone else about how much I loved him, but that actually doesn't work. You know, it's great to know that when you come back to social media, you had 10,000 comments, but like that shit didn't work for me.
Right.
I made a Patreon post about it, told people I needed a mental health break. Just nothing, felt nothing, because you really have to find the thing that helps you, you know? And for everybody that looks different. And I think like when we're able to cry and talk about our mental health and the way we felt, it does inspire others to get help or find their thing. I actually don't think listening to depressive or sad shit makes you want to do it. Like people were saying that to me. Well, you don't want to seem like that person because then they might start thinking that themselves. I'm like, bruh, if someone looks at my podcast like it's big and listens to me every week and it commits an hour of their life, 52 weeks a year, like, nah, you think that bitch didn't fucking feel it once? Like,
Right.
I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
And I didn't care. when I said it, it was really rough because definitely I thought about dying all the time. I would think I was actually, as someone that's like a party girl, you know, I like to dabble in some drugs and shit like that. I think that was the one thing that was good that I didn't do. I was scared to drink because I thought I'd go home and do it.
Wow.
I was like, well, I just won't get high or won't get drunk because then maybe my guard will be down and I'll feel comfortable. Because, you know, in my right brain or my sober mind, I wouldn't kill myself. But
Wow.
maybe I will if I'm drunk. Like,
Yeah.
that shit is weird and crazy. So when I heard Fury get like that, it was hard to listen to. I mean, I cried on this episode coming out for different reasons.
That you can't enclose right
No,
now.
I'm not saying that I can't. I'm thinking Yomi was there. It was a really rough day. My co-host is opening a podcast studio. And to me it was weird. Especially because I saw the name was Full Court Media Studios. I only called this place WTF Media because of me and Alex's names, Alex Media, Weezy, WTF. So yeah, it was just like she's doing it and I didn't say anything because I can't be a hater, right? And I also don't want Mandy to take a L. I want her to do well, so what could I say? And we had guests come in that started like teasing her about it. And it incited all of these emotions out of everybody. Alex was here. I was here. And you know, we had to sit down and talk it out. And then when I sat down in front of the camera to start Horrible Decisions, I just started crying because I was like, I can't even be happy for you when I was feeling happy for you because I know what everybody will say.
Right.
Right? So even though it's hard for me to know, to push past that feeling, everybody's only going to hype it up. Right? They're going to talk so much shit. They're going to say yours is better than mine or mine's better than yours and make it be a thing.
Yeah.
And as someone that I already have a difficult relationship with at times, it's hard. It was hard. And like, I just cried and then she cried later. And yeah, I thought about cutting it out a little bit, but at the end of the day, those raw and true emotions, that's really podcasting.
I was about to say that makes a fantastic podcast, regardless. And hopefully it doesn't create division amongst, because you know how blogs or something like that, or like people just chatting, like they might just like try to create that division between y'all two. Hopefully it doesn't do anything like that, because there's obviously room for both of y'all. But I understand why you might have felt a way if she just like let you know out of the blue.
I mean, yeah, like it wasn't easy, but also at the same time, you know, I'm sure it wasn't easy for Gotham to know the person that brought them Mad Podcast made a podcast studio. You know what I'm saying? So it really wasn't more so that it was happening more than like it was my co-host.
Right.
You know? And I know it'll be definitely hard to like sit in each other's shit and promote your own shit and try to feel okay about it. But nah, like I think I am more bothered by other people than what's happening. And it happened right in our face. So yeah, the tears came out because it was frustrating. So I just want to celebrate my own shit without looking like I'm pushing your shit down. But now I feel like I can't do that.
Yeah.
'Cause I used to say things like, I got the best podcast studio. But now I don't want to say that. 'Cause
Yeah.
people going to be like, because she don't.
Yeah.
You know? So
That's whack though.
yeah, like it's you know, I'm sure it'll be weird at first, but I'm ready to just get to a point where it's okay.
Yeah.
Because I be shouting out other podcast studios. There's another Black-owned studio in Harlem, PVA. We've recorded there a few times. I really like that guy. Like I said, Cast Sound Lab with Preach. I know he has 2 locations now. Like, at the end of the day, like, I've made my own lane so, like, I can't find the word, but I'm not worried about nobody else. You know?
Oh God. What advice would you give a woman of color or just somebody of color, period, of just starting a podcast, and like what lane should they go in, how to navigate through the bullshit and all that stuff? Because podcast industry is fairly new now. And then now everybody's getting into podcasting.
I think the main thing for women of color is making sure that you understand that what you're making is different. And if you can't find a difference in your podcast from someone else, that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, any big podcast I know, in my opinion, is either because they're a celebrity or they did something different. Right? So I'm not a celebrity that made a podcast. And I really do think I did something different. We were 2 corporate women talking about sex. And it was something that everybody talks about, even if you do have the day job, the 9 to 5, whatever, like, but you're not talking this flagrantly. Like, we used to hide our identities, right? because we were scared to lose our jobs. And I think that, you know, with Black women, Latinas, whatever, I want to make sure that all of them protect themselves in that regard first, right? Never give someone the space to say, I heard you talk about this on a podcast, removing it. Like, nah, make sure you keep your shit together, but treat it like a business, for one. And two, make sure it's different. We shouldn't be wasting our time and resources if we're going to emulate another podcast.
Yeah.
Now, having comps, if anyone doesn't know that word, comparables, like, I've used that word when talking about like real estate or TV or whatever, like a comp of horrible decisions. We could say back then was guys we fucked, or Angela Yee's lip service. It's not like that, but comparable, right?
Right.
You may get the same type of demographic.
Sure.
Yeah. What would y'all's comps be, you think?
Probably Joe Budden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Really? Y'all don't even give me that vibe.
I mean,
No, but well, like early in the game.
You're saying the
maybe
conversation?
early.
Yeah, like in the conversation early in the game, we used to really like speak on music for real.
Yeah.
In a big way. I think that's how our followers just came to us because they just liked our music takes. Because we're not like just service level listeners. So but now it's more of like, so especially since we came here, I felt like the conversation shifted.
Really?
Yeah, 1000%. Like
For sure.
we shifted the conversation 1000%. And I didn't see an aux cord, so I couldn't plug it in to play some music and shit like that. So it was just a different vibe. I was like, oh no, let's really have a conversation. Let's not let the music just talk for us all the time, like or the sound bites. Let's just have a conversation. And our conversation just shifted. I would say like it's leaning towards like brilliant idiots, maybe, like when Charlamagne get into his bag. Only when Charlamagne get into his bag. When he's with Wax.
Brilliant Idiots is a really good pod
It's fantastic.
because you're watching industry people not care.
Yeah.
Like, I think Brilliant is a way you can get Charlamagne in his rawest form, actually.
That's what I'm saying. And I love that. I
Mhm.
love that. I listen to that pod because of Charlamagne. And I just like when he gets into his bag. And like they start talking, and especially when depending on the guests that they have, like they start talking their shit, and I just enjoy that. I feel like that's just what we do. Like sometimes we could be like real silly and like have just like some friends up and just talk some real bullshit. And that might go crazy. You know what I mean?
And you never know what your
You d-
moment will be either.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the thing.
That's the weird thing. You come in a room to do just talk with your friend. I actually think when people ask me like how I got the quote unquote courage to talk, why did I feel so like I was in a safe space? Why would I put this out there? Because I talk so crazy. I was like, because I don't think about listeners when I'm sitting down.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure I'm gonna pay for that comment I made talking about the fucking podcast shit with Mandy. But at the same time, I'm really not thinking about what happens when this goes out. I think that's really what makes me a good podcaster. Because I kind of don't give a fuck. I really talk to people in their face for what it is. And when you can do that, which is what Charlamagne has been able to do his whole career, you know, and I'm sure like people might feel like I'm a Charlamagne dick rider too. But I celebrate the people that are where I want to be. Right?
Same.
Like I'm super excited to talk about that shit. And when you find someone that like literally like helped you make waves, there's no other industry person that champions my show like Charlamagne. Like the nigga be doing full on conferences and conventions talking about horrible decisions and how it should be getting XYZ. That's mad love.
Oh dear.
But and then you get to watch that type of person be crazy as fuck on a podcast. Like I think that shit's cool as shit.
Yeah.
You know, and like I feel like that's what people listen to podcasts for. You know, even though we're not celebrities, they appreciate our opinion. They value it and they like seeing us get in our bag. You
Yeah.
know? Podcasting is a weird ass art form.
I want to ask you about how you just feel about the just the
Landscape.
the current landscape of podcasts, and in particular, so the celebrities is every day it's a new celeb with a podcast. Like, what do you feel
Young
like
Miami
that?
just made one
Young
yesterday.
So I'm not going front. Young Miami needs something like we like watching her and Saucy Santana on live, like makes sense.
Mhm.
But there's two, I just thought I heard too when you said that. There's two things I think of new landscape of podcasts. The I Am Athlete thing,
Sure.
Fantastic part.
sitting down with labs, which is actually what Andrew Schultz is doing now. Sitting down with labs, full production. I actually don't like it.
Oh wow.
I think it's too high end.
Too high in production. It's more like a TV show for you.
So I run a podcast division for a man named Kenya Barris, and he's known as a big movie director and writer, but he was also known for Black AF.
Blackish. Of course,
Right?
yeah.
Blackish, yes, but Black
Blackish.
AF's first
on
base.
Netflix. Yeah.
So one of the podcasts we're making is his. And I'm not saying anything that isn't known because it's in a Hollywood Reporter article.
Congratulations, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One of the podcasts we're making is his, and Kenya is so aesthetic, right? Especially as someone who's like super rich, you know you can get whatever you want. You can make the best products you can. And I know that he initially probably wanted labs. And I had to really convince him, like, we got to put the mic in your face. Because if you fucking sit down with LeBron or Drake or Nicki Minaj or Cardi B or whoever, if this person at your level, like, some reason this shit feels like a podcast.
Yeah.
Once you lab up and you've got, I don't know, it's something about that setting that I think doesn't make it a podcast anymore. Joe Rogan sitting at a table still
Yeah.
is a vibe to me.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes podcasting has turned into a TV show. And I'm just not a believer of that. Maybe I'm the girl who still won't download TikTok or catching the wave, but I like seeing people with a mic.
So like even like the shop and shit like that, like you ain't even messing with. Like,
I like it. I'm just saying that's not
podcast vibes for you.
It is. They're giving podcast vibes, but that's a TV show for a reason.
No, I agree.
So when I see like Young Miami shit being called a podcast, but I looked at it and she's holding cards.
Yeah,
in her
she's
hand,
holding cards. Yeah, it's a show.
It's a show.
But even let's get rid of Young in Miami. But even a lot of celebs, you might see Tank just started a new podcast as well.
On Black Effect, yeah.
On Black Effect, right? You just got a lot of celebs having podcasts. Do you ever feel like it's kind of like
Stupid? Yeah.
okay?
I don't think celebrities need to have podcasts. I think it's super dumb.
Because it doesn't make room for the people that are just regular people, individuals that
Ain't
actually have
good.
talent,
Mhm.
right?
I had a woman from Spotify who you guys will find out soon. There is a huge celebrity that got offered an insane amount of money. They're black to start a podcast late.
Mm.
And this person came to me and she was like, I really want your help because all of the shows have celebrities on them and I want a normal podcaster. Can you give me names of podcasters? And I named someone and she goes, they're too big.
Wow.
I was like, wow. Like, and I actually appreciated that she did that. She was like, I just want to keep it as a podcast. Like, I don't want two celebrities talking and fucking feeling like they're on TV. And when she said that to me, I was like, this is what I hope it'll regress to. You know what I'm saying? I really believe that's why Kenya hired me. Like, you're a podcaster, yo. Like, I mean, everyone I work with, nigga, like the niggas is working with Eddie Murphy last week. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
He's fucking making White Man Can't Jump with Jack Harlow
Mhm.
and all these fucking people. We're going to a Tribeca Film Festival thing with Ben Crump.
Mm.
And you hired me to make your podcast, which is smart because I'm going to make them the essence of podcasting, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know I can. But when I see so many celebrities intertwined in it, I'm sick to my stomach because I don't want your famous take, dude. And it's funny because, like, now that I'm getting money, sometimes I be scared to talk about my shit. I just said assistant. Am I still a podcast? But also,
If you don't got no damn assistant,
people
what
feel
that-
proud. I feel like, most of my listeners that came up with me, so like they want to hear you grow. They like that shit.
Right.
But like, that shit is not podcaster shit, dog.
Yeah.
And like Michelle Obama getting all that money for a podcast that flopped.
That
She
flopped.
had one of the worst podcasts, like worst performing.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's
Oh, God.
terrible.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because Barack Obama too. That status. That's the issue with the podcast game. It be blowing minds. I'm not even gonna lie. I just can't stand it. Just like, yo, me and Bari are great. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna front on us.
I guess you.
No, I'm like, we're good podcasters. We've been doing it for a while with vets in this game. And it's just like, yo, what the fuck? But also, the blame could be on us too. Like, we probably just didn't get into those type of rooms yet. And that's just cool. It just is what it is. Everybody got a time. But it's like, damn, you gonna put somebody like whatever up there because he's a celeb or she's a celeb? I don't like that.
I will say this. I know that like Horrible Decisions made waves to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I like we did have an organic fan base, but you really do need a cosign. I really believe that. I do think
Who's your cosign?
Charlamagne was
Charlamagne.
my cosign. Then I got on Brilliant Idiots, and then that got us another like 30,000 listeners. I don't know how many other thousand listeners, right? Like, so our listenership doubled.
Wow.
And then when people saw one, then it was like they started jumping on. And I actually have like a lot of people ask me about having famous guests. Yes and no. If that famous guest has a podcast, maybe. Because then you're cross-promoting your direct demographic. But if you have a famous TikToker on that has 10 million followers or whatever, it may not translate because you need those people to listen to you. And a lot of people will use guests for views, and that doesn't really work.
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
We've tried it.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Their listeners want to see them or their fans want to see them in that medium. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't really cross over. Actually, my TV show did better on the app. Probably because people were on their phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, if I could click right here after, like she just said it, but now I got to commit to watching Sex Cells at 11 o'clock. Like, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's hella watched on Fuse. They love me. And I fuck with them. But I'm just saying, like, I know how much better it did on the app. And I'm like, I think that's like, because it's in their hand. It's a podcast thing. But I do think people need a cosign, man. I do. Because there is so much of stuff. We're like on overload that it's hard to just build that organic shit anymore. And white people do it with each other. There's like a company in LA called Dear Media. And I don't really listen to white podcasts, but one of my homegirls does. And she was like, you've never heard of Tiger Belly? Or Andrew Santino, he's recording, or what is it, Anthony? Okay, he was recording in here. And she like lost Whiskey Ginger. Yeah. She was losing her fucking mind. And I'm like, I know that nigga, he ain't nobody. But I'm sure people think that about us too, right?
Right.
But when I clicked on him and I see millions of views, I was like, holy shit. So then I start seeing all these like white podcasts that are in this like
That
group
bubble.
and world together. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, they're just like passing on the torch over and over and over and over and over and over. It's nepotism, damn near. And so I do think because there's an overload of podcasts today, you do need a little bit of it. You do kind of need a cosign. You need maybe not a guest, but like something.
Do you think black podcasters will get to that level? Like people that's like on Charlemagne level, you think they would reach down?
We need a new genre of black podcasting.
What would you call it?
For example, Charlemagne in my head is comedy. I understand Joe Budden's music, but I feel like you would listen to that to laugh. Sure. Rory and Mall Lane, Earn Your Leisure's finance. That to me really paved way.
Yeah.
Because I didn't listen to any fucking finance podcast, period.
Yeah.
So when they came out, I was like, ooh, fire, right?
Yeah.
$1 million worth of game, got their lane. We could say HOREible's in the sex world or whatever, but like, where is the true crime? Where's the black true crime? Where is the black podcast that talks about mental health besides Oprah? Like, to me, I don't want to fucking listen to Oprah. Don't get me wrong. She's just not my demo.
Yeah.
Maybe that's y'all. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, there are lanes we haven't hit yet. Where is the black sci-fi? There's nerdy ass niggas out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know one black man in my life that like doesn't need like sci-fi or anime. Not even kidding. Just not dragging it. Like, seriously. We like that shit.
You don't like that shit.
I like sci-fi.
Oh, you like
one of them.
Not anime, bro.
No.
Oh, I group them in weird nigga shit. But that's what I'm saying though. Like, I feel like we still have room to grow. So,
yeah.
When those things happen, I hope we all can get in other lanes. But like, there are moments where I'm like, damn, is it going to be Charlemagne and Joe Budden forever? Are those going to be our black podcast messiahs?
I think so. That's what it feels like. You know, like that's what the energy feels like.
They are great.
Fantastic.
I don't like Joe, and I know he's great. Deadass.
Well, yeah.
You know, like I know that is someone who's great at podcasting.
Absolutely.
1000%.
So, I mean, he deserves all of that. You know, it's a good show to listen to. So, but like, yeah, I do feel like there should be more, and I think that we've got to create those. I think Black Effect, though, not even trying to gas it. I know Shar tries to do that. He's got cooking in there. He's like really is fucking trying reality TV shit. Like he is really trying to hit that, and I hope it works, yo. I really do, because Conan O'Brien just sold his shit for $100 million. Ain't no reason that nigga Charlemagne shouldn't. He's got mad black podcasts on his shit. The fact that All the Smoke and Drink Champs is on there.
Huge.
Right? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So I do think that it'll happen. I think it's just going to take longer for us. That's all.
I want to know, like, because obviously you are well-versed in podcasts, and this wasn't where you started. So at what point during the journey did you, like, really become infatuated with, like, the business side of it and knowing, like, where you could potentially go when you started Horrible Decisions? Like, because now you're a podcast person for real.
When I quit my job, obviously I got more into it. And I hate to say that it happened when I started my studio because I don't think it was that. I definitely think I had the acumen enough to understand podcasting, but for one, Mandy was an accountant formerly, so she would do a lot of our business management for Horrible Decisions just naturally, as she was the better one and more apt to do that. But didn't mean I didn't know shit. It's just she was the trusted source. So like when I started, and I did a podcast called For Facts Sake, I still do it with my friend Eddie. When I did that and got to start up again for the first time, I knew better, right? I started Horrible. I knew the fuck ups. Like I knew what to do. I knew how things structurally had to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, once I started the studio with Alex, we understood for real what people needed. That is when, I would say only 2 years ago, when I really became podcast business mind for real.
Yeah.
Not like I didn't know it, but where I actually put it to use. And y'all could possibly be those people. We all know it. Are we just actively talking about it or doing it? And people would always want me to like host a podcast class and do this and do that. But I don't know what advice to give someone that sucks. I don't believe everybody can have a good podcast. I think you could have it and then it needs to be tightened and you grow it.
Right.
Like, I don't think if you just hand me a podcast, I can make it good. I really don't.
What you think makes a bad podcaster?
I think a bad podcast are people that don't understand that they're entertaining. Even if what you're doing is boring, you still have to entertain. I listen to a lot of sleep podcasts.
I don't even know
Sleep?
what that is.
Like that puts you to sleep.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Talk to you slow and soft and shit.
yeah, but
Whisper in
like
your ear.
actually, one of my favorite ones. I forgot the name of it. Deep sleep something. But the guy, he does this. And
Like
he
ASMR.
probably doesn't talk like that every day because he knows this will put you to sleep.
Wow.
You're consciously doing that. You know what I'm saying? So like you ever have a dead moment and you boop, you know you need to change it?
Yeah.
Like that is good podcasting.
Right.
Good podcasting is also not leaving people out. When you start talking about something that's too far removed from them, like we all start talking about a moment in let's say we're at a restaurant and you're sitting with me, but y'all start talking about some shit that happened to you alone, but you're not engaging me. That's a bad conversationalist. So in a podcast, you have to bring people back. Like I'll even say things sometimes, even if I'm just telling a story to Mandy, I'll look at her dead in the eye and be like, okay, but y'all got to listen to this. And I'm still looking at her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's things like that. I think bad podcasters don't understand that. I think they also say things like, we just talk shit. And I mean, you said it too. I say it too. But you know what I'm saying? Like, what's your podcast about? We just talk shit. Like, I need to know why I'm coming and clicking on this shit.
Yeah.
Having a purpose, I think that day is important too. And also making sure that you are consistent enough to where you become part of someone's routine.
That's real. That's real as hell.
You know,
Yeah.
I love and hate seeing people be like, why y'all ain't post yet? Where is it? Blah, blah. Like, it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. Like, you don't feel good about it, but it's a good thing because you're like, oh, they need you.
They need you, yeah.
And being needed and wanted is a good thing. So making sure people feel like they have to listen to you the next week.
Yeah.
And there's lastly something that I think can make a bad podcaster. If you don't like the podcaster without the guest, that's not a good podcaster. The fact that Joe Budden and Rory and Mal are so engaging that we don't care if they have a guest.
Never cared, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The fact that Brilliant, like, I ain't gonna front, I don't listen to Sorry.
But they mainly have somebody there as a third person. Oh, no?
Yeah, they need their shit talker. Like,
Okay.
they need either their wax or their
Yeah.
like, and that's funny because that's also a lot of entertainers need that too. I realize sometimes Mandy and I get in our bag when the engineer's laughing. Right? We all like, or I'll start looking over for validation.
Yeah, I love that too.
Yeah. That's
Anytime you want me laughing my shit, I'm in my bag now. For real. Yeah.
Because like someone's back there doing a job and if
Yeah.
they look like they're into it, you're like, oh, this is good.
yeah.
But like I say the thing about the guest because
Hey, come
Say.
on. This is a Living Black. Yeah, we outside. Episode 180.
so,
Gotta reinforce.
Gotta
that, man.
reinforce the vibes. You don't know when they listen.
so Charlamagne hits me after the Roots picnic. And he was like, I heard y'all killed it. I was like, yo, we did a good job. I can't believe it because it was outside. Da, da, da. And I talked about another podcast that I was surprised at. And he was like, because who cares if there's no guest? That's what he said. And I was like, I hear you. Oh, and he was like, how did it translate? I was like, well, we're just listening to them talk instead of listening to them interviewing. And he's like, you guys have curated fans of you, not fans of the show. And he's like, I know you may not see it that way because they listen to Horrible, but like they really do come from Mandy and Weezy. That's why when Mandy and I used to like get in these little fights, he'd be like, y'all gotta stick together, bro. People listening to Horrible for Mandy and Weezy. Y'all are the brand. In my Black Effect contract, no other Horrible Decisions deal says this. It says Mandy and Weezy as sex duo, talking about XYZ.
Wow.
The pair, not even the name of the company.
Wow.
Like, and when I learned that about us, it also really helps me value my partner.
Sure.
As much as I could say she annoys me, right?
Yeah.
Or any day we get in a little fight, like, oh, nah, they here for us. Even when people act like, oh, fuck Mandy, Weezy, you're da-da-da-da-da. Like, I feel like y'all only like me because Mandy was mean to me that day.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all need this fucking dynamic at the same time. Like, people gotta fuck with you. If you start leaning on a guest, that's not good. Actually, not like I'm trying to talk shit about them, but I just really, I feel a lot for one of my homegirls. She was in Call Her Daddy, which is a huge podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sophia comes here now. And I think about her so much because that show was really good as the two of them. And now her co-host making so much money, but she gotta have a guest for this show to be lit.
Yeah.
And her guests are huge, bro.
Yeah.
That bitch probably gonna have Amber Heard by the time it's coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like every time she got a guest, I'll be like, damn, it hating a little bit. How you got Jamie Lynn Spears, ho? That shit is crazy.
Jamie Lynn
But like,
Spears.
you gotta have it.
Right.
You got no fucking choice.
Right.
I actually don't think Joe Rogan needs it. We like his guest interviews, but I think Joe Rogan's entertaining. But nah, like you.
Well, Joe Rogan, he's just a great conversationalist.
Yeah, thank you. That's it. Not even interviewer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think about that a lot when I think about the Call Her Daddy scenario. Because I can't imagine how stressful that is. When Mandy and I have a guest canceled, you just heard us say Jim Jones and Mano canceled, who asked to be on the show. But nigga, we got a lit ass fucking episode without him.
Yeah.
We're like, oh shit, all right. I literally posted on Instagram, like, send some questions in or some weird ass fucking hoe shit you got. And boom, it's there in my hand. I didn't even need to look at the phone for 45 minutes because I could talk shit with this bitch.
Right.
That is gold. Jesus and Marrow, gold, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
I love Bodega Boys. If them niggas have a guest on, I skipped the guest interviews on Showtime
Wow.
Really?
because all I want is them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they're funny, just like their chemistry is just perfect.
Somebody will feel like that about this episode too. I don't care about, podcasting.
We've heard that
I
before.
don't care about the business. Yeah.
Yeah.
They will. And that's also good. It's okay.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure to bring your guest into your world.
Yeah. I think we do like a great job with that. I mean, you might hear a couple of times like, yo, you guys ain't need an episode or whatever like that. But I like when guests come into our world because sometimes we might have like a nice adult beverage, get into our shit. We might talk some vibes and like have a great conversation around whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And I like those. I like that type of vibe. When it's me and Barry, I already know what we expecting. It's about to be a lot of jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's about to be just a lot of conversations that we get, that we understand, that I'm not quite sure that if everybody, like a new listener comes in and be like, what are they talking about? Unless you probably like listen from day one. Oh, not even day one.
You got
but
the
like,
Inside Joke podcast?
Nah, not really.
Nah, not quite.
Not quite. But we
wouldn't
just
say.
kind of sometimes like name like somebody like Wolf, right? Like if you didn't listen to one of the episodes in like 5 episodes back, you didn't know who Wolf is.
Oh, they got to pick the pieces together. See,
Sometimes.
I don't reintroduce characters in my show. You could say Wolf or Yomi is a character because no one knows them.
No one knows them. Right.
I don't reintroduce people enough. And I noticed that because people be like, well, I just started. Who is this?
Yeah.
Like, when did you fuck this nigga? I thought y'all was And I'm like, oh God, now I gotta dial it back. But it's shit like that. And like, I feel like this conversation is interesting even for someone that doesn't really care about podcasting because you're listening to a podcast and you kind of get to see behind the scenes a little bit or how people feel. Like I'm sure y'all have had a day where you feel like you don't want a podcast, but your listeners need you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And shit like that. That's probably why Mandy and I cried that day. We were like, damn, bruh. We booked these hours just like y'all do. And we're like, fuck, we got to get this shit out.
You felt like that? Like, has there been a lot of times that where you like the day come and you don't feel like podcasting?
Yeah, sometimes people could tell.
But
They be like, y'all should have skipped.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, was that like a bad episode for you?
You mean the day that comes that feels like I don't podcasting at all?
Like you just come and you like you wake up in the morning, be like, I that ass don't feel like talking my shit right now.
I feel like that frequently.
Frequently.
Because I'm single now and I'm hosting a show about sex. And now I gotta like,
You gotta find sex.
not even that. At first, when I wasn't fucking,
Yeah.
it was still kind of hard, but then I could just joke about not fucking. But now I met someone I care about and I'm like, you meet a nigga with 500 followers, you're like, what do I do?
What do you mean?
Like,
What's she talking about? You can't date a regular nigga?
no. What do I do? Like, I host a show where I would talk about my sexual experiences about somebody. You clearly are a low-key ass nigga.
Yeah.
And now you like, son, this nigga told me that his best friend knew who I was. He didn't when he met me, but he's like, yeah, like had listened to you, like knew who you were, like da-da-da, and like has friends that know me. I now realize that I can't just walk up here and talk about the nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was totally different when I was with my ex because he was just like, gave me the pre-consent. Like, he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And now you kind of involve someone in your life. Like, my show is about my life and the other people in it. My mom, me talking shit about my mom is a part of my show.
Yeah.
My mom has called me and been like, when did you say I asked you for money? I was like, oh, my bad. But, like, you people are invested in your life, in your stories.
Oh,
like,
God.
yours, from what you've described, it seems different because it's your opinions.
Mhm.
Mine is kind of like my actual business.
Mm.
That shit actually makes it hard.
I mean, I be wanting to talk about my actual business. I always joke about Bari.
I wish you would.
I always joke to Bari about this. Like, if I actually come on here and speak my shit.
You don't be giving the tea.
He don't want to divulge information.
Nah,
dog.
see, 'cause
Really?
If I divulge information,
People's feelings gonna get hurt.
it's gonna get real iffy. It's gonna get real iffy in my life.
Not all of them. They about to come up to 265 Canal Street.
That's what I'm saying.
Why
Like,
she gave the address like that?
Because it's on the website.
But nah, like sometimes I kind of want to do it. Like, yeah, I'm gonna come in here and talk about shit because I got like we might, huh? Nah, yeah, because I'll be wanting to talk about like dating for real in 2022 and like the difficulties of that and just like
Son, I be wanting advice. I thought this nigga thought we were just friends because he wasn't like kissing me, but until like the 5th time we hung out, or like random shit.
you want a nigga to kiss you right away, like automatically.
Okay, he too has a dangly earring, so I see the vibe. Wow.
What the fuck is you weak for? What is this? What is the
I'm just
dangly?
talking shit. I've seen it on Twitter.
Oh my God.
There's a
dangly
tweet
earring
that I
thing.
love and I'll never forget. And after I
Okay.
saw it, I called him dangly earring niggas.
Okay.
It said, it was a nigga in all caps. And you could tell his bitch must have fucked somebody else. Because he goes, you think that dangly earring nigga gonna build you a house? And I was like, wow. But I still want to fuck him.
Yo,
like,
that's funny.
also niggas with dangly earrings have a certain vibe, son.
What's that?
You know they gonna have like either Sage, Palo Santo in their house. Like
I do got
you,
Palo Santo.
okay, yeah, keep
You
going,
know
keep
what I'm
going.
saying? You
Yeah,
said
keep
the king queen shit. You know what I mean?
Come talk to my people.
You know that they don't need to have labels to be fly because they don't need the extra shit.
Mhm.
Right.
You know that they're not gonna be like hoteppy, but also like black supremacy on the low.
Oh, that's pretty accurate.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Y'all fucking me up. I ain't gonna lie.
but
She describing me to see.
Phil.
But
you
go ahead.
gotta be a certain type of nigga to wear that shit. And even with yours is a specific.
It's an onk, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So what your man got right now?
I don't have a man.
Oh, okay. So somebody you talking to? My bad.
I ain't about to divulge on this.
Oh, I just want to know what type of area he got. If he got a cross or something.
I can't say it because what if these bitches like fucking dig through my shit and click on it and be like, I see it. It ain't a hawk. But actually, I think like, I don't know. Yeah, just even like that, right? I'm like, damn, did I just do too much now? Like, I really am a big person on consent. And it's weird because I'm like, do I need pre-consent for this shit? Do I need to be I don't know the steps. And I'm the fucking sex podcast guru, bitch. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't really know what to do. And I think that's what made me like really feel confused about podcasting.
I think
Being a
that.
guest is way easier.
Yeah, exactly.
That is true.
I think that's my issue when it comes to like divulging my life. Like, I don't know if I say the person, if I describe it and they listen to the podcast, I'm gonna be like, yo, I know you're talking about me. And it's just gonna be like issues with that.
But also too, right? Because one of my homegirls, I wanted to talk about sex. And she goes, who cares? You're not saying his name. I'm like, yeah, man, but the man didn't, take me home and sleep with me and spend time with me to then hear that moment be recant in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that alone being somebody that I give a shit about is why I can't do it. Don't get me wrong. Have I fucking had a one night stand and talked about it on Horrible? Yeah, but you know, in my head, like that's a different thing. Like
Yeah.
you can't start building or growing or even giving a fuck, even if it was friendships and nothing else from here. Like I want to have enough respect to be that person.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. And I really have thought like I only want to do Horrible like another 2 years, bro. I want to
Wow.
have kids. I want to get married. Like I would love to exist with Mandy in another space. Like I don't know what capacity, but like this magnitude of it, like I really want to start my life. And I feel like that's why I'm working so hard. You know what I'm saying? So
I know we're kind of low on time. I actually just want to ask you one more question, because I think that just plays into it. Being a woman that is sexually liberated, have you like, and then having conversations about sex on a podcast very openly, have you ever like faced any trials and tribulations along the path of like getting like deals and things of that nature, or like how do you make other women feel more comfortable and opening up their sexuality more like publicly and things of that nature?
I don't know. I mean, as far as deals, I feel like I've had that conversation so much, which like, of course, it's a racy show. We know.
Yeah.
I think one deal that disappointed me the most, we had Planned Parenthood partners come on to talk about abortion and how, like, I didn't know that I thought if you got more than like one abortion, it was bad, right? Like, I kind of thought that.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to like slut shame a bitch, but I didn't think it. And she was like, yeah, there's like literally no difference in your body from 3 to 10. Like, no, we don't want someone to like use it as a form of birth control, but like, no, it's actually not bad. And this is something that's factual, researchable, but like it's been pushed in our head that it would be, right? I say that to say all this great dialogue. And then there was like a Planned Parenthood partnership that was supposed to happen. And then it was like, no, not with them, which really hurt. Considering like I'm a woman that's definitely for the cause. I volunteer my time, my money, and like I've walked women to the door, drove them home, all for that same company to exist in another world where I'm now in a bigger platform where I could have educated everyone. You just like, nah, because it's y'all bitches. That hurt. As far as what was your other question about publicly sexual liberation?
Yeah, so publicly sexual liberation, like just making women feel more comfortable or just be openly just sexual.
Have y'all seen the Kid Cudi? I almost called him Kid Scott. Kid Cudi documentary on
I have
Hulu?
no Prime.
Prime.
Yeah.
Sorry. Prime. The one where he kind of acted like when he was depressed and shit, he was like, people just telling me how great I am.
Yeah.
Women come up to me a lot about how much I help them. And it's crazy when it's a moment where I like don't feel like I could help myself. It is so much pressure. I cannot stand when it happens and no one knows.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I want you to come up to me if you see me in the street because I would want to do it to people I love.
Oh God.
But like, I remember a specific day. I literally went to this restaurant and it was the first time I went outside in 6 days. And I just got my dog and I was like, I have to go outside. I have to get air. And I'm sitting in this restaurant by myself. And this girl talked about how great I was and kept going on and on about it and how I made her great and how she can't wait to listen to more. She made a joke like, don't break up with Mandy because I need you, girl. You made me do X, Y, Z. And I was like, yo, it felt like a weight on me.
Yeah.
And she didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? And like, knowing that I have propelled women to feel sexually liberated is amazing, but it's also so scary knowing that like I almost want to scale it back so I could start my life.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a heavy burden.
Right.
Yeah.
You felt imposter syndrome at times, like you're not really because you're dealing with your own things. Like when people come at you like this, you felt like, damn, I'm not really who.
Yes and no, I am though. Like I am a. Like also like you know what I'm saying. Like you can probably talk shit with like an older uncle and laugh about bitches even though he switched on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've lived in the moment, you get it. It's also a part where I don't like when people say single women can't give relationship advice. Bitch, I've had a relationship before.
Yeah.
But like, nah. It's funny because I remember years ago, Andrew Schultz said I was wearing slut face. Like she's not a slut anymore. But it is not imposter syndrome more than it's just like the disappointment. What will you feel like if I stop?
Yeah.
Is it really that important? Well, like when it's over, then what? Like, am I still gonna be worthy to this person? Another realm of entertainment, and I don't know.
That's a ball. But people that if they love you genuinely, they'll grow with you.
But it's okay because they may love Weezy being the bitch that needs a plan B, but the nigga that hit a gun under her pillow. They might love that Weezy.
True.
And they
That was
may
mad
not.
specific though.
Oh, because son, that was one of our most popular episodes this year. And it was just all stories about dumb shit that I did. And I remember Shar called me and he was like, oh, we need more of this shit. And I'm like, yeah, we need me being dumb. Like to fucking get us the views, son. Like one of Mandy's most popular episodes when she had a shower with like 8 people or something at some sex club. Like
Yeah, that's sex clubs.
yo, but like that's the thing, is that who we gotta be? You know, and I think that is really what scares me more. And it's not that I can't be that girl. It's just that like, what if I just happen to not be anymore? Like that's not my only part of me.
Right.
But so something you said, people do make comments to me that I'm way more chill in person, or one thing I don't like when I go to Last Lap, people come up to me and be like, but you ain't drinking, you ain't doing this. You be talking all this shit, but you ain't shaking your ass. Like,
That's whack. Yeah, like yo, chill on that, bro.
the fuck are you
You're supposed to be on call immediately.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Bro.
weird. That's weird shit.
That is weird.
Yeah.
That is some weirdo shit. That I don't like. Cause I'm like, I'm literally in a bar, bro.
Yeah.
In a bar to get drunk.
Right.
But because I'm not a city girl right now with my fucking head between my legs shaking my ass, I ain't Weezy.
That's weird.
That is the only thing. But other than that, I don't know. I do feel good knowing that I could be Weezy and make money as this personality. And I'm kind of glad that Weezy has evolved. People have come up to me about my studio and about podcast production work more recently than they have horrible decisions. That feels crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, the old lady come up to me when we were doing a photo shoot for merch. She was like, I feel like I know you from somewhere. She was older, like 60s. And I'm like, I'm not sure where. I didn't know if it was down the street. She was like, you have a TV show? I was like, yeah, I forgot I had it. Yeah, I watched it it's called Sex Cells. And I was like, nigga, nobody comes up to me and says that.
Yeah.
Not that nobody watches it, because they do.
They do.
But,
Shout out
but
to
I
Sex
mean
Cells.
more so like, I'm so used to horrible decisions. It's nice to know you can evolve. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with y'all shit, you just kind of never know what it could be. It could end up being a podcast and brand. It could be a podcast and clothes. It could be a podcast and like a movement of some sort. You just don't know. And like that is something that I don't know yet. Maybe that's where the anxiety comes from.
Yeah, I definitely get anxiety thinking about what this show could turn into, or like what platforms they might create. So like that's always on my head.
Like Earn Your Leisure is more than a
no,
podcast now.
1000%.
They are really like panel people.
They're educators. Too.
You know, and I'm telling you right now, them panel bags be 30, 40, 50, like they will when people want to hear you.
Yeah.
So like that, something like this seems to me more brandy, but I'm also like, I said brandy. Jack Harlow don't know who she is. But like, you know, like it's podcast, yes, but like the brand that comes with it too.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I want to thank you again for
Of course.
popping through.
I feel like we talked, I know I'm the guest, but I feel like we talked too much about me.
No,
That's what
I
we're
mean,
here
but
for.
that's what we're here for. That's what
About
we was
that.
tapping in. Like I mean, you know, we're not dead, so like we might have another conversation sometime down the line in the future where we're actually just kicking the shit, and you probably just get tapped into our world on the different vibes. But like I would say like meeting you for the first time, I think when the party or like the vibes was here, I was like, oh, I felt your energy right away, and that's something like.
What was it? What was the energy? Tell me.
No, it was just a good energy. Like you have
cool.
great energy.
Oh,
like,
thank you.
No, yeah, you
Yeah,
have
cool.
great energy. Like it was, it gave off. I hate using the word humble, but it gave off just a good person.
I don't say humble, I say humility.
Yeah, because I hate the word humble. It's actually a negative term, but judging by the definition of humble.
Now that's a nigga with a dangly earring. When you look up the term of humble, it's the white man trying to keep you down.
I don't read. He reads the dictionary.
Is
So
there
he
an
like,
X on your hat?
it is an X on my hat.
Giving Malcolm.
You know when I bought it, that's exactly what I thought of. But anyway, ain't the point. We want to thank you again for popping through.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yo,
Yeah.
thank you. Like I know people feel like someone said to me, like, you doing another podcast? Oh, you doing that shit because they record there? Like, I said, man, people record it that I wouldn't fuck with, you know? But I do appreciate, like, I feel like, you know, it was a fit. So I appreciate you having me.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's
Means a lot.
That means a lot.
For real.
That means a lot. But yeah, man, homie Yomi, appreciate you as always.
Gang.
Gang shit.
Yomi.
Jabari, man, thank you for coming through here. You already know the vibes.
You know that.
Because nobody has to pop through. You know what I mean? We come here, we do a show, and we do it well. And I want to appreciate you again. Thank you for creating this space for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you made it to the end of the episode, we're opening one in LA and on Hollywood Boulevard.
Nice.
And we are hiring. So if you live in that area and you're black or you're like, if you look like you got a color in there, you will hire.
The announcement? That was an announcement?
Nice.
Yeah, it was. I kept it to
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Don't
That's a
fucking
vibe.
post it, yeah, because I want it to be a surprise.
Oh, yeah, nah. We on your time.
We on your time. Whenever you want. Sundays,
Usually
12 o'clock on YouTube.
Well, I ain't reposting y'all shit till I announce it. That's all I'll tell you.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah. We good.
That's clean.
That's clean. That's beautiful.
clean.
Just keeping it a bud.
Absolutely.
12 p.m. on Sunday, 8 a.m. on a Sunday. You already know where to tap into Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good shit. We love you. Appreciate you. Peace.